attention, please. Good morning. At this time, I ask that everyone please rise and remain standing as we honor the United States of America with the playing of our national anthem performed by the South Plainfield Middle School Orchestra, followed by God Bless America performed by the 7th and 8th grade choir. Thank you. Please take your seat. Once again, good morning and welcome to the South Plainfield Middle School Memorial Day program. This is a great way to start off our day of service here in South Plainfield. I'd like to begin by welcoming some very important guests that are joining us today. First, let me ask you to welcome our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Tansey. Business Administrator, Mr. Benanti. From our Board of Education, Pio Panisi, our Board President. Also from our Board of Education, Ms. Debbie Boyle. And third is from our Board of Education, Mr. Devon Pender. I'd like to welcome from our Town Council, our Town Council President, Ms. Christine Faustini. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Joe Wolak. And Mr. Derek White. I'd like to welcome Mr. McChriskin, who always joins us on our ceremonies. We enjoy having him. I'd like to take a moment to welcome our first responders and thank them for joining us today. You know, their schedules are very busy, so we very much appreciate it. And most importantly, let me take a moment to have us welcome our veterans. From the Navy, serving in World War II, Mr. Joseph Vela. Also from the Navy, Mr. John DeAndrea. From the Army, Mr. Leonard Rowland. From the American Legion, Mr. John McConville. And also from the American Legion, Mr. Robert Cox. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. We love having you here. At this time, I'd like to welcome the middle school principal, Mr. Leo Whalen.
Good morning, everybody. It's always a wonderful program we have, and it's nice that we're doing it on the day of service in South Plainfield. And thank you, invited guests, for coming. Memorial Day is an American holiday observed on the last Monday in May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the United States military. Originally known as Decoration Day, it originated in the early years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. Many Americans observe Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries, memorials, holding family gatherings, and participating in parades. Unofficially, it marks the beginning of the summer. For many, that is what Memorial Day means, the beginning of summer. For me and for many other people, it means a lot more. Growing up in my hometown of North Brunswick, we used to have the biggest Memorial Day parade in the state, similar to what we do here in South Plainfield on Labor Day. It's filled with a lot of events, activities, but they don't hold that anymore. Each year leading up to that date, I'd be at the firehouse with my father, my brothers, and members of the fire company. We'd be preparing the engines for the parade. It takes a lot of work, similar to what we're going to be doing today, the day of service. Making sure the engines were polished, fresh coat of paint on the equipment, and everything was looking nice. But there was always something else that took place. It stuck out in my mind, and it still does to this day. My father would take the older firefighters around to the different cemeteries around the county, Middlesex County. And one by one, at the different cemeteries, the different grave markers for the firemen, they'd place flags, American flags, on their grave sites for those members that had passed away and that had served in our firehouses, to honor them. And this is why we're here today. Take the time to remember our American military personnel who died for us in war. It is important that we do this and not forget the sacrifices of our military members. Each year, we must pause to honor, reflect, and remember these precious lives that were lost. In 2000, Congress passed the National Moment of Remembrance Act, which encourages Americans to observe a moment of silence at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day to remember those that have died in service. I encourage you to fly a flag in front of your house and to participate in this moment of silence at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day to honor those military personnel that died. At this time, I'd like to call up Julia James to the microphone.
Hi, my name is Julia James and I play the bass track. The song that we play is a hymn of remembrance by Todd Phillips. In our busy lives, we often fail to pause and reflect on events that have occurred, personally, locally, and nationally, and throughout the world. There is no doubt that this well-crafted music of this hymn will evoke a sense of peace as those affected by such events are remembered. I hope many of us remember the important heroes and other people that gave their lives to this country.
Good morning. Monday, May 30th is Memorial Day. As you are aware, Memorial Day is the day we remember and pay our respect toward every American soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, and Coast Guardsman who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. From the first shot fired at Concord Bridge through the most recent conflicts in Iraq, Afghanistan, and beyond, we as a nation have been blessed by having men and women willing to pay that price for freedom and our way of life. Every member of the armed forces willingly accepts the inherent dangers of military service. They believe in something bigger than themselves, that this nation and our values are worth fighting for, worth protecting, and worth dying for. We owe these men and women a debt that we can never repay. However, this morning we will show our gratitude and honor their memory. At this time, please rise. Your classmates will lower our monument flags to half-mast, followed by a presentation of a wreath as a symbol of our appreciation for the honorable and faithful service and the memory of all who have lost their lives defending this great country. We will then observe a moment of silence, followed by the playing of taps, Amazing Grace, and the Navy hymn. Thank you. You may be seated. Please welcome Mr. Whalen.
And Cameron King, please come up to the microphone.
Hi, my name is Cameron Keene, and I am a part of the South Plainfield Middle School band. The hymn we just performed, Eternal Father, Strong to Save, was written in 1860 by William Whiting, who was inspired by Psalm 107 and its reference to ships in the sea, as well as his own experiences of storms at sea. The tune is composed by clergyman John B. Dykes in 1861, and in the same year the hymn was published in the first edition of Hymns Ancient and Modern. Eternal Father, Strong to Save became a popular hymn of the both Royal Navy and the U.S. Navy in the late 19th century, and since then many other armed services have also adopted the hymn, including the Royal Marines and the British Army for official use. Today it is also known as the Hymn of Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the Royal Navy Hymn, the United States Navy Hymn, the Navy Hymn, and sometimes with the last line of its verse, for those in peril on the sea. We remember all who have died and served for this country and would like to thank them for their service. Their sacrifice has enabled us to have the freedom that we enjoy today.
We do have some invited guests that would like to speak. Mr. White, Councilman White, would you like to come up to the microphone?
Good morning, and thank you. Once again, another fine memorial ceremony here at our middle school. And just want to thank our veterans and our first responders who are in attendance today, taking time out of their day to be here with us today. Just give them a round of applause. So as I was sitting and looking around, I thought about not so long ago, or maybe a long time ago, I was your age. And all the dreams, all the hopes that I had. How many have hopes and dreams of what you'd like to do in the future? Few. Not too many of you, I'm surprised. But as I was thinking about that, I couldn't help but focus on the fact that the men and women that we honor today and through Memorial Day had hopes and dreams. But I'm sure that their hope and their dream was not to necessarily lose their life on a battlefield. And it's very appropriate that today is the day of service here in South Plainfield, because we're serving and doing things here in South Plainfield today that are for our community, but will have a reaching effect outside of our community. And that's exactly what the veterans and the people we're remembering did as well. They served so that we could be protected and our freedoms could be protected. They did something inside themselves that affected all of us. You know, my mom, she has these little sayings that I call, like little sayings to live by. I call momisms. And one she said is, some were called, some were sent, and some just got up and went. Just think about that for a second. These are people who got up and went, as Mr. Blando said earlier, because they saw that there was a cause greater, deeper, more important than their hopes and their dreams. They were not born soldiers. They were not born ready for military battle. But yet, they saw the opportunity to do something for others that others couldn't do for themselves, make a lasting effect on the world, and they chose to step up and do it. And many of them gave the ultimate sacrifice. As we think about it, sometimes the ultimate sacrifice, really doesn't do it justice. So let's say it plain and clear. They gave their lives. They gave their lives. Another momism was their experience is the toughest teacher. It gives the test first and then the lesson. That's exactly what those soldiers on the battlefield experienced. This was foreign territory for them. They'd never been there before. But yet they stepped up, took the test, faced the experiences, and gave all, gave their lives for the great cause of freedom and the great cause of this nation and for each of us. So, as I close, I'd like to end with a quote that, as I see the flag here, the flag doesn't fly because of the wind that blows it, but by the last breath of every soldier. That's the American way. That's the fortitude and the strength that we have, that people will step up and give everything to make our great nation stand, survive, and continue. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. I would like to take a moment now and invite Mr. Joe Vella, one of our veterans, to, I'm going to bring the microphone to you, Mr. Vella, but I just want you guys to know that Mr. Vella served in World War II, and he is 101 years old. So I think he needs an extra special.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. As I look out over this group, I can't help but remember when I was your age. You know, folks, we weren't all born old. We didn't start into this world as adults. We were youngsters, children, maybe, and with high school age, and this is a very, very informative part of your life. And I remember what an earlier speaker said. He said, "You are here today to remember." Yes, that's the word. We veterans who fought, and I fought, I didn't think I was your age and I was going to have to go out and kill somebody, and I did. And we passed the torch on to you, hoping you never will have to grasp it. Where an innocent person like us had to go, or a soldier, and plunge a bayonet into a total stranger. That's monstrous. But back then, when you're fighting, it was nothing. They were bombing us, shooting at us, and we responded. The Japanese said to us, "We won half of the Pacific Ocean," and we obliged them. We gave them the bottom half. And so now I say to all of you, I remember those who passed away, my brothers, my friends, my neighbors. I buried my first guy when I was in the Navy, 5 months. I hope that never happens to you. I am against wars. We can talk, we can argue, we can do all that, but it's the fighting that kills, and we don't need to do that. We need to use diplomacy. And who is speaking for us? You folks, because you came here this morning and you did what we veterans wanted. We don't want any money, we don't want any plaques, we don't want any servitude. We wanted you respect and for you to remember. And you know who's speaking for you? Those flags. They may seem silent, but they speak loudly and clearly and vociferously. And they say, God bless all of you and God bless America. Thank you.
Before we finish our program, I want to take a second and thank Mr. Bolano, Mr. Deese, Ms. Howout, Ms. Ledecky, the students, for a great job putting all this together, honoring Memorial Day. Thank you. I'd also like to thank our military veterans, our emergency responders, for being here today with us. Thank you. And remember, as we leave here today, let's make sure to honor the memories of our heroes that are no longer with us. And let us strive to live up to the examples set by some selfless patriots each and every day. So before we leave, I just want to say again, thank you to our invited guests. If you didn't get a chance, we do have coffee, some bagels and danishes at the end of the hall in the faculty room, so you're more than welcome to stay around to enjoy that. Students, we usually go back to class at the end of this program, but today we have day of service. So that'll be starting with the schedule at 10 o'clock, so make sure you're cooperate with your teachers, you're in the right locations, because we have a lot of activities planned for today. You did a great job out here, and I expect we'll do a great job. And we'll be finishing up in the gymnasium about 1:30 for our volleyball championship game and our presentation to our donations that we're making to our services that we are collecting for. So let's keep up the great work today. Very proud of you. Thank you.